We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Drop the mic with Jason Hunt.
Hey Anna, what's happening?
Happy July. Happy
Yes,
midsummer. Yeah, all is well
yes.
on my end. How about you? How are you doing?
Yeah, doing pretty good. I mean, we just had that big heat wave here, and I think we're getting another one coming up.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not against them, so I'm okay with them.
Yeah,
hmm
yeah,
I
that's good.
support
I
them.
mean, we only get it here in Canada, where we're located. Really, we get to enjoy it 4 months of the year, like really peak
Yeah.
weather. So
Short. So I'll take it.
exactly, we can't complain. But Anna, well, first of all, thanks for joining from your car office. Right, this is where all
You're
the work
welcome.
gets done. Right, I think every time I've spoken to you, you've been in that seat right there
Yep.
in your car.
Yep.
You're a busy
Yep.
lady.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's where I eat my favorite meals. It all happens here. Yeah.
What is keeping you busy these days?
I'm doing a lot of TED Talk like talks to companies that involve sales, motivation, and LinkedIn. And I'm finding there's quite a need out there for people to understand LinkedIn and how to maximize it. A lot of people, I think, are afraid of it. So, in addition to what I do day in and day out, which is a sales rep for a commercial company, I've been working on that part of, I guess, self improvement for myself by being able to pay it forward. I've reached a spot in my life where I can now pay it forward, and so I've been working on that.
Nice. Yeah, you know what really got you on my radar was really your presence on LinkedIn. But before we get into LinkedIn, because I do want to
Mhm.
dive in deep into LinkedIn on this episode and your strategy, because you were super active on that platform. But just to go back a notch, I actually met you originally at a local business event called BisCon. I think it
Yep.
cruised by my booth.
Right.
And I remember because I have a stack of business cards when when I go to BizCon, I collect business cards,
Right.
and I had you on my stack there. And your business is a cleaning company
Correct. Yep.
that you're working with. Tell me about your business, first of all, with the cleaning company and your role with that company.
Absolutely. So Servcare Interiors is the name of the company. The owner his name is Rodolfo Coons, and he's been doing this now for 40 years. I joined the team about 4 years ago. Essentially, I'm a sales rep. I'm the only sales rep this company has for now, and the game plan is to grow that. And I joined this team because when Rodolfo presented the job to me, he also presented the 2 year plan, the 5 year plan, the 10 year plan. And that's very smart of him. And I loved what he has in store for me. And we've been following that plan accordingly. What I love about Servcare Interiors more than anything else is it's easy to sell that. We're a commercial cleaning company, but it's easy for me to sell because when I tell somebody we're going to do ABC, the team comes in and does ABC. Now that's huge. So I've stopped telling people I'm selling cleaning. It's not what I'm selling. That's what we do. I sell us. And it is our integrity, it is our reputation, and it's the references. Because again, me saying we have integrity means nothing unless I have the companies that stand with us. So every detail, starting with the owner at the top, is so important. And that's what we value, and that's what we bring to the table. So essentially, to answer your question, I'm a sales rep for a company that I stand very passionately behind because it's easy for me to do my job when everybody else is doing their job too.
You know what? I think I know so many businesses, specifically sales reps, get this piece wrong, where they become so fixated on the cool feature or the new feature or the state of the art feature. It's all about
Right,
features, right? When
right.
really it's that it's more than that, right? More than just the relationship as well. It's how do you fit that product or piece into their puzzle?
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. What's the point of me telling you what great features we have if I don't even know what you're looking for? Like, that's question number one, is to figure you out. What is it that you need? And maybe what I have is not what you need, but if I've got proper integrity, I'm going to put you in front of someone who I know has what you're looking for. That's how it's done.
Yeah, it's wild because we kind of take a similar approach at our agency where you are essentially, yeah, I think every salesperson needs to be a brand ambassador. Really not sales. Like eliminate the word sales. Like we've taken the word sales off of our signatures because in our
Nice.
case, we're a strategist, a digital strategist.
Right.
In your case, it just could be a consultant of sorts, right? Or something that's not just sales. I think it's important to eliminate that sales rule and focus prioritize it on really how you're helping them, right?
Right. Well, that's the key is, can I help you? How can I help you? And if I can't, we move on to somebody that can. Absolutely. How can I help you? That's why I tell people too, at the end of your whole spiel, when you're doing a presentation, one of my key points is do not be afraid to ask for the sale. If you're not looking at it as you're taking money from them, you're looking at it as I'm solving a problem for you. I'm a solution to your problem. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, 100%. But you have to be, I think you have to be very careful in terms of when you pitch, right? You have to know, and maybe you can tell me how you navigate those waters from building the relationship to actually dropping the pitch.
I tell everybody that if you don't connect with the person that's in front of you on some level, whether you have only 2 minutes or 10 minutes, that sale is not going to happen. You need to absolutely connect and figure out that person, and you have to intentively be listening. You can't be asking your questions pretending that you care, but then really thinking about, did I take the chicken thighs out of the freezer for dinner tonight? Who's picking the kids up from soccer? Blah, blah, blah. We all have stuff. You got to leave the stuff at that door, and you got to sit there and ask your legit questions and actually be caring about what they're saying, be actually present. They'll feel that. They will completely know if you're actually listening. And only there can you then start whatever your next steps are. But step one is connecting, or it's not going to work.
So in our case, for my agency, I have merged media. Okay. And for me, if you look at my personal website, jhunt.social, there's not really much emphasis on merged media at all. It's all
Right.
about, myself, my speaking, my, how I can consult clients, how I can help people, YouTube channel, podcast, all that stuff lives on my personal page and is disconnected from merged media. In that,
Right.
if I have a conversation and I get to a certain point, behind me is that agency. You've created something similar with Servcare. And I noticed this because when I'm looking at your LinkedIn, I'm like, wow, you're doing a lot of this motivational mindset type of speaking.
Right.
And you position yourself as that mindset sort of coach when behind the scenes, you look at your experience at Servcare.
Right.
And
Right.
I think that's an approach that more salespeople need to take in the year we're in.
I'll tell you though what it does for me, Jason. That cliche, life is short, because it is. Doing the motivational stuff also keeps me in track of seeing life in through positive lenses. And I want to make sure that every day I'm seeing it, I'm feeling it, I'm touching it, I'm paying it forward, I'm enjoying it, I no regrets. And all that I do allows me to do that and hopefully be able to impact at least one person so they can feel that too. I am closer, not to sound doom and gloom, but I'm closer to the end of my life than I am to the beginning. I don't want to waste any of it. I don't want to waste any of it. We have to work, and I love work, so that's fine. But I'm going to make the best out of my 24 hours. I tell everyone there's 168 hours in a week. What you do with it is up to you. How you look at it, it's up to you. I'm going to look at it through good lenses.
So, I mean, there might be some salespeople out there that are thinking about taking this approach, right? From going to just nailing the phones, trying to close deals, living in their CRMs,
Right.
to taking this type of approach. Was there a conversation that was had between you and the higher management at Servcare to take this approach in building your personal brand?
Uh, no, no, there wasn't. Rodolfo knew me from the job I had before, so he kind of knew who I was and how I functioned, and basically he let me handle it the way I thought it made sense. So he's kind of set me free, which is also important that a boss I'm blessed to have a boss that's not micromanaging, that's not looking at every move and telling me I have to do it his way. He's been doing this now for 40 years. He has a right to say, I know this business, Anna, you don't. But he also knows I'm very different from him. My style is different. The way I do it is different. And he lets me be. But the outcome is people like us and they want us to clean for them. So, he sees it's working.
As an owner in the business, like finding sales reps like you are a godsend, right? People that are passionate, not just about the company, but are passionate about their own success within
Right.
the company and doing what they need to do to achieve that success without having someone having to micromanage you, asking you about your
Right.
monthly numbers. And monthly numbers, quarterly results are important, but I
Sure.
think those are all a byproduct of doing all these things that you're doing right now.
That stems from me knowing my why. It starts from that. We won't go into those details. Some of it is personal to me, but I've established my why years ago, which has evolved and it grows and changes. But I know where that base, I know what it was. I know what got me up every day. And if you don't have a why, I think it's a lot harder to be the best that you can be, right?
Are you taking the knowing your why out of a page of Simon Sinek's book?
Uh, part of it, yeah, but part of it is that. But I think instinctively, I have my personal reasons that I just kind of woke up one day and said, okay, I need this to get that, to get there. And so it was just full force, full on forward, moving forward. I mean, they might have been tiny steps, but there were consistent steps and they were getting bigger and bigger. And I am here today because of all those steps. And again, having that why, I now, when I do my talks, I call it built, not born. Because that's what happened here. It was all these steps that, pushing for my why that led me here.
Take me down, not necessarily your personal journey, but somebody that maybe wants to understand what their why is. What would be the first step for me to take that road to understanding my why?
Well, that's self meditation, I suppose. You have to ask yourself, what is it that you want? And I've asked many people what they want. I trained, I was a fitness manager for a team of 20 at Good Life Fitness. And that's always how we start every year. Your 4 quadrants and what are you looking for? Only you can answer that. However, just putting down, I want a house or I want a vacation, that's not good enough. You got to peel your onion and what is driving that. Go into more detail and see and understand exactly your detail and then create your vision. Like I'm not one of those that says stay at home and dream and hopefully it'll fall from the sky into your lap, right? But if you write it down or know exactly what you're working towards, and I'm not just talking long-term goals, you have to have your short-term goals, then you start to develop the smaller things which are going to get you to the bigger things. But only you can answer what's your why. And I would say to yourself, what is your why? And that's your answer. Dig deeper. Why is that the answer? And just keep going until you've broken it down. And once you've broken it down, then you got to also break down how to get there. It's overwhelming to say, I'm going to buy a house in Ontario, which nobody can afford today. Like, that's never going to happen. But you work that backwards and it can happen. I used to tell my trainers, you want to make money. Well, what's your yearly gross that you want to do? Break that down into monthly, break that down into quarterly, break that down into weekly. Then you know how many appointments you got to tackle a day in order to achieve what you're going to achieve. And those baby steps are possible then.
It's funny how you say that because I remember years ago back in the mid 2000s, when The Secret was super popular, right? And I watched that and even before that, I did have a visualization board. And it's funny looking back at the time when I created this visualization board, I was doing music and I remember having one of the pictures on that board was like me on a stage with a packed crowd. And then there was, there's a couple other things, like a family and sports and all this type of stuff was on there. And looking back now, one of those things that came to manifestation was the simple fact that I did not get signed to a music label per se, but I speak on stages around the world about marketing. And so it kind of manifests itself. However, to your point, right? there's a lot of little things that need to happen between the visualization every day and those little
Yes.
tiny to-dos. And maybe you can give some, what do you do in terms of those little tiny to-dos? Are there some strategies or tactics? Are there 3 things you wish to accomplish every single day, week, month? What are some of those tactics that you deploy?
I need to stay organized. So that's one of my things. And the week starts on a Monday. And one of my friends on his LinkedIn post say, oh boy, how do you guys handle your Monday? Monday is always the toughest. I'm like, yeah, it starts on Sunday. It doesn't start Monday morning when you get to work. Whether it's a Friday afternoon, Friday evening, or Saturday or Sunday, you best get organized to know exactly what it is you're looking to do Monday through Friday. And start to put those things into place. You can't show up to work on Monday going, gosh, how am I supposed to handle today? You're behind already then. You're behind. So staying organized and getting prepared for the week is extremely important to me. That's how I handle it. And I write everything down. I know what I want to accomplish. I know what I'm going to do. I'm prepared. Come Monday, I'm like running out of the gate, right? Staying healthy and fit to the best of my abilities is also something important. I tell my kids that 1 hour in the morning fuels the following 23 hours. I do a lot in a day. A lot of us do that. We do a lot. We accomplish a lot in a day. In order for me to have that functional training and movement and clarity of mind, is the movement that I do in the morning and to the best of my abilities to eat as healthy as I can, right? So that's only 2 things, the staying organized and staying healthy, but they're one of my top 2, and getting the right amount of sleep as well. Like I'm in bed by 9, I'm up at 4:30, but I will tell everybody, not, I can't talk to you at 9:30. I'm going to sleep. Sleep's important. So those seem basic, but man, they're powerful more than a lot of things.
So first one, failure to prepare, preparing to fail, which is a Walter
Ah,
Gretzky quote, right?
yep.
And you got that one there, right? So preparing the night before, knowing what's up ahead, and too often, and I do this as well, and it's I'll be checking the morning of, well, what's my daily plan today?
Right,
I'm
right.
too late. All right, I got to get in the right mindset the day before. Now, number 2, you said there was
Healthy.
number healthy. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think that's super important for me, at least. Like I'm 44 years old and I'm the healthiest I've felt in my life. And that's by having a routine of waking up every morning. I don't do the full hour that you do, but I still get out there half an hour and do some sprinting. And it just gets that heart rate up to 160, feeling fantastic the rest of the day. Now, the last one I probably have the most trouble with because I'm a procrastinator by nature and I try to fit in so much stuff in every single given day that I can't fall asleep till 12:30.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? And that's just like, oh, I got to do this. I want to do this. I'm doing this. Oh, I want to finish this one last idea or strategy or post or whatever it is.
Right.
And next thing I know, it's like midnight. And that's where
Right.
I do need to
Right.
get better and prioritize that sleep. But hey, you're waking up every morning at 4:30.
Right. Right.
Early
Yeah.
riser, early riser. Now,
Yeah.
have you always
Yeah.
done that? Did you have to train yourself
Nope.
to do that?
Nope. Trained myself. I got here. Yeah, I did. I was not always that person. No. But I cannot tell you how much I love it. Getting up at peace and quiet. The world is still sleeping. I do it on weekends as well. So it's 7 days in the week. But I feel like it's a gift to me. I don't look at it as a chore. Oh my God, 4:30. It's a gift. And I love my gift. So
Mm. So tell me about that morning routine. What happens first thing in the morning to start your day off on the right foot at 4:30? Or out of bed hitting the bench press machine or what?
I will make a coffee. So I give myself 30 minutes of not much is happening other give some gratitude. I will check emails. I am doing some work at that time. But again, I scroll at things to see where LinkedIn is, where what is. And then at 5 o'clock, I start getting ready to go to the gym. By 5:30, I'm at the gym. By 6:40, I'm home to get ready for work. 7:10, I'm out the house, at work by 7:30. Like every time, every part of the day has got its time slot, right?
So once you're starting your day, because LinkedIn is a big platform for you and where you're
Huge.
allocating a lot of your focus, right? A lot of your
Yeah.
attention. I see it, and you're getting a lot of engagement there as well.
Yeah.
How do you manage your time spent on a platform like LinkedIn?
So I post 5 days in the week, Monday to Friday, typically. And so 8 a.m., 8:10 a.m., I'm ready. So I start there by posting my today's post, which has been set up from the night before. I know what I'm posting and what I'm going to talk about. Sometimes I'll spend a Saturday preparing the next 5 days what I want from Monday to Friday. It's ready to go. So it doesn't take much time to put a post because I did it the night before, right? I'll spend some time on reading what other people have posted and engaging with their LinkedIn. So it's not a ton of time. But remember, I've developed it after 7 years that now I don't have to spend a lot of time on there. It kind of works like a oiled, machine there. It's flowing properly.
Okay, so you're spending a good amount of time planning the schedule for the 5 posts that you do in a given week,
Yeah.
not forgetting to engage in other people's content and commenting, which obviously has huge benefits as well, because those comments that you leave on other people's profiles gives you a lot of impressions.
Yes,
right?
it does.
You see your name, they see what you do right there at a quick glance, and I'm sure you get a lot of people viewing your profile through those comments you leave on other people's as well, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So when it goes, let's get granular with the content piece. Okay. What is your process for creating a specific piece of content? Let's say it's Sunday night, you want to create content for the next week. Go run me through that process.
Sure. So let's start off by saying that 30% of what I post is related to Servcare interiors and commercial cleaning, but only 30%. The other 70 has nothing to do with cleaning and has everything to do with me. Anything that I'm willing to share with my audience. And I will talk about myself, whether it's how much I like cake, because I sadly do, whether it's me at the gym, whether it's me hiking in a forest, whether it's me grounding bare feet, I put all that out. And different audiences connect with me on a different level. I get inspired by a lot of different things. I don't have to necessarily have my 5 days planned because honestly, I look out my window and there's a story. There is always a story in front of me. They're never not there. It's easy for me to pick because it's just, oh my gosh, look what happened. That's inspired me. That's great. I just came from Longo's in Leaside. I met with Chris and he's the executive assistant there and he does these displays of different food products. They're incredible. And I was so inspired by his positivity. I just left. I took some selfies with him in front of his display. That's going to be my tomorrow's LinkedIn post. That's something bigger. Something smaller was yesterday. I walked into a business in Guelph called Wellington Group of Business, Wellington Group of Companies or something. Anyways, they had these little mugs, tiny little mugs with a little plant coming out of it. And I would see them everywhere. I'm like, how come you guys have these little mugs and plants? What's that all about? And one lady says, well, that was an employee appreciation. The owners gave one to each of us. I said, that is so beautiful. It's so manageable. I wouldn't kill something that small because I'm not good with plants. I'm like, I'll buy one. And she's like, I'll give you one. You can have one. I said, really? You would do that for me? She goes, well, of course, absolutely. So my today's LinkedIn post was all about that plant, and that company doing that for me. That wasn't planned. I didn't know I was going to do that, but that happened. So the stories are everywhere. You just have to choose to see them. Like I was away with a friend one time and we were looking at the hotel window. We had a wedding in Florida and I'm like, wow, look at this view. And this person says, it's nothing that special to me. I'm like, how do you figure? We're looking out at the swimming pool that's part of this hotel. There's a gorgeous pond. There are these birds I've never seen before in my life. They're big and incredible. Oh, well, when you put it like that, yeah, I suppose. I'm like, what? So, you choose to see what's in front of you or you don't. But I'm inspired by pretty much anything. So
I think that is a fantastic skill to have. And I think it's not really top of mind for people to think that way. It's not top of mind for people to look at something and see the beauty in it and see the potential for a good LinkedIn post out of it. Right. And my strategy is quite similar in a sense where for me, if I'm coming up with a LinkedIn idea, I go through my phone and I look at all the photos through the years and I find a photo that might be a photo of me sitting at a desk. It could be a random photo of me walking down Osaka, Japan, a street in Osaka, Japan. Something like that is going to trigger an idea. And again, it goes back to the cliche. I mean, a picture's worth 1,000 words, right?
Yep.
It really is.
It.
And that's what you're just finding that moment a little more ahead of me, right? It's like you're standing on the balcony. It's like, this is a LinkedIn post. Snap. Right? Brilliant. Right.
Right.
But I
Yeah,
think
life's
yeah.
beautiful that way. Yeah. Yeah.
I think a lot of people though think that LinkedIn is a place to spend too much time promoting your company. You spend 30% of your time promoting Servcare, which I think is a good breakdown of percentage, 70-30 personal versus business content or salesy content. But I will
Right.
guarantee I'll be shocked if that Servcare content is not underperforming much or getting much less reach than your personalized content, right?
Oh, 100%. But what it does for me, Jason, is I get recognized on average 2 times a week, wherever I go. In the forest of BC, in the Florida airport, wherever I go, people come up to me like, hey, you're that LinkedIn lady.
Mm.
Suddenly, my cold call is a warm call.
Mm-hmm.
Powerful.
Big time. And that's exactly it. And who wins in this type of a game are those people that are patient and fixated on the relationship building and less on the sale. Those are the
Correct.
people that win in LinkedIn in the day and age that we're in now.
But that's the way it should be. That's the way it
Mm.
should be, anyways, right? So let me tell you what else it does for me. I cold call a lot, which is probably my favorite part of my job because every time I open a door, it's so exciting. You don't know where it's going to go. And there's always some kind of overlap or connection that I find. Whoever opens that door, we're going to be friends. So it's exciting. Now, I give somebody my card and they say, we're happy with our cleaners. You never know in 6 months what might happen. I'm like, absolutely. Do you think I know where their card is by the time I get to my car? I've already lost their card. I'm assuming they won't even know my name tomorrow, let alone in 6 months. Okay. So now what happens is I'll say to them, can I connect with you on LinkedIn? They're like, sure. So I connect and I post 5 times in a week. They might see one of my posts in that week. They might see two of them. They're not going to see all five. That's fine. But 6 months from now, they know exactly who I am, how I function, what I like, what I don't, how we clean, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, we have a cleaning question. We're calling Anna. That's what happens.
You're getting on their radar, right? You're in their Rolodex per se, right? Like you're there in case things don't work out with that existing cleaner. They know
Yep.
they have you in the back pocket to talk to about if
Correct.
things go pear shaped
Correct.
with that
Yep.
company. Yeah, that's all you need to do, especially in the job in the business that you're in. In a lot of service based businesses, a lot of times the turnaround time, I mean, the whole sales journey is pretty long,
Yep.
right? It's not
Absolutely.
happening overnight, right? It's typically they know they need your service, they know you're there to help them, and then it's a matter of having that discovery call and conversation.
Yep. Now,
Right.
because I've been doing this for so long, I've got stories that happen every week, and they're all positive and they're all fantastic from LinkedIn, right? But I'm going to share one because so that people understand what LinkedIn does. Okay. So I was cold calling in Vaughan, and some company said yes, and I'm there to present the quote. Like we've already met, I've measured, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm presenting the quote. He's a little bit busy. The receptionist is telling me, Anna, it'll be 5 minutes. I said, no problem. And I'm talking to her. When all of a sudden, this gentleman who I've never seen before at the company, he joins us and he says, he goes, can I ask you a question? Just like that, he says to me. And I'm like, well, sure. He goes, how do you know? I'm not going to say his name, from the company GFL. And I said, how do you know that I know this guy? Because I don't know who you are. How do you know I know him? And he says, well, he's our common connection on LinkedIn. I said, oh, I didn't realize you and I were connected on LinkedIn. Okay. I said, he's one of the top directors at GFL. We clean for GFL. I brought them on. They love what we do. If I post anything about cleaning, that gentleman will say on my LinkedIn, these guys are amazing. If anybody wants to know how good, feel free to reach out to me. This man says to me, really? I'm like, yes. He walks away. And I'm like dumbfounded by what just happened. I lean into the receptionist. I'm like, who the heck was that? And she's like, well, that's our president. I'm like, okay, well, suffice it to say, they said yes to our contract. That brought in probably 60,000 for the year, and then they brought in 4 other buildings. But that was the power of him knowing me, recognizing a common connection. The common connection we clean for, they love us. Like, how incredible was that?
There's no other platform out there that I know of that you can get direct access to those decision makers in a company that easily.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
You recently, and I've seen through your posting, have conducted some surveys or some experiments through LinkedIn. Tell us a bit about that.
I'm still trying to figure out the algorithm for LinkedIn, which I feel forever seems to be changing. So I've done since 2 experiments, but essentially it's me pleading with my LinkedIn family to say, hey, I'm asking a question. Can you like this? Can you repost it? Let's see how far this goes. And so some things I've learned is being consistent on LinkedIn is key. Having people repost your post is not as important as having people comment on your post itself. That
Mm-hmm.
seems to go further.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like LinkedIn will look at your post and there's things it's looking at that could change one week from the next. And if they don't necessarily like what's happening, they're not pushing your post further. And that
Mm.
gets frustrating. So honestly, I don't have answers yet. I'm still playing with it. But what I'll say is people are really great. I like, you know what? Like let's help this lady out. Let's see if we can get answers here. And people will push that post and my other experiment as well. It's nice to see people collaborating, and helping one another. Do I have the full on answers? Yeah, not yet. Not yet.
Well, keep me posted on that, because I mean, the algorithm definitely likes your content. It's always served in my feed whenever you post something. So I'm continuously seeing it, but I'm also reinforcing that too, because I am commenting, right? And that's something to keep in
Right.
mind as well. You have
Right.
the ability to really customize that user experience on LinkedIn. If you want to see more of a certain type of content from a certain type of person, engage on it, like it,
Yes.
comment on
Yes.
it, comment
Yeah.
on it, right?
Yeah.
And you'll see more of
Comment
that
on it.
content. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
big time.
If you want people to appreciate and respect you, it's important that you read what other people are doing as well and respect them. And network. You see somebody, and someone who's got a solution to that person's problem. Start putting people together, right?
LinkedIn's one platform that is probably doing one of the best jobs at trying to make it social. You know what I
Right.
mean? At
Right.
really engaging people to make it social and make it, in a way where it's positive, right? It's not like a Facebook group. It's not like, it's not toxic. Majority of the content that I see is all positive. You
Yep.
know what I
That's
mean?
what I see too. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I guess, is there anything out there that you see people doing on LinkedIn that you're kind of thinking like, probably not a good strategy?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So one thing, which is not a big deal, but people's profile picture, we're going to start with that. It starts with your picture. People make an impression of you based on the 2 seconds that they've looked at your picture. And you got people that have inappropriate pictures. You have people that have family members in their picture, like a child or their partner. This is a business platform and it's you. It's not anybody else. They crop out the person sometimes that was in that beach picture. That also doesn't make any sense. They're holding a cocktail in their hand. Not cool. Make it professional to the best of your ability, and it's just you, not anybody else. I do have people on LinkedIn who I see are trying to promote their product, and they do it in a negative way by saying, "Mine is so great. Why wouldn't you be buying my stuff because everybody else is not great?" You can't do that. You can't do that. No, it's not your business what anybody else and how their product looks. You can only say mine. I love mine. Mine is great, but you can't knock anybody else down. You can't start arguing on LinkedIn. And I find there are some people who are so passionate about what they do that they'll take it down a negative way by bad talking others. And nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody wants to be your friend. Nobody wants to help you. You can't do that. You have to stay positive. And even myself, like I know women will get a lot of messages, private DMs that are extremely inappropriate. So you just learn to block people. Not a big deal. We deal with it. And sometimes I want to rate something about it, but that then brings negative vibes to the LinkedIn. So, we all know not to do that. Don't put anything that's a Debbie Downer.
You know what? And like we just said, right? Like, it's not going to help you. It's going to penalize your reach if you're being negative, because we know that LinkedIn wants to prioritize positivity, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's something that needs to be factored in. As also, just to go back to the profile, because you bring up a great point. Profile picture, making sure there's a certain etiquette that you have to follow on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Having a profile picture. A lot of people don't have the profile picture. Put a
Right.
profile picture up there.
Yeah.
cover
Yes.
photo, I think, is a
Yes.
great opportunity to capture people's attention immediately. You have a
Yes.
fantastic cover photo. I
Thank
think
you.
that, yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to take advantage and capitalize on a piece of real estate on LinkedIn. People
Correct.
go to your
Absolutely.
profile.
That's
What do
a
you
good
want
way to
people to
put
know?
it. Mm-hmm.
Yep. What
Yep.
does yours say? I believe yours says, oh, right away, anagranic growth partner, right? Like, you know exactly what you do based off of that. You're a growth partner. It's great.
Right.
And here you are with a microphone in hand. You know, it's
Right.
something like that, right? I think
Right.
is great for everybody to have in their cover photo. Then the about me section. There's certain keywords that LinkedIn is going to pick up when people are searching for the job that you do, right? So
Yes.
ensuring those are in
Yes.
the about me section as well is important.
That's another piece of real estate that people are not maximizing. I see some people who just don't even have the about you section at all. And that's an important one. I lecture about that. You should have that, and, get some help to make sure it sounds proper. That's not hard to do, and go promote yourself, whatever it is.
In the comments of this video, I'm going to leave a link. It's I recently did a YouTube video with 5 LinkedIn prompts that you should ask AI to restructure your LinkedIn page. I think it's pretty
Right.
helpful because a lot of people don't know, well, what am I going to write? How do I create a really good headline, right? Well,
Right.
with the likes of using AI, you can make
Yes.
something sound really, really good talking and speaking to that pain point of your target audience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Anna, this has been a great conversation. Is there what's the best way for our audience to get in touch with you if they have any questions?
My cell phone number, my email. I don't know if you have that, Jason, but I can give that to you, and then you can post it somewhere. That's fine. I'm open and willing to talk to people just to see how we can collaborate. You just never know, right?
And I would probably push people to check out your LinkedIn profile, which is linkedin.com/in/Anna Granic, ANNAGRANIC.
Yeah, perfect.
And go give a connection request. But do you accept connection requests from everybody?
But almost everybody.
Yeah.
I will take a quick look at their LinkedIn, and if it looks sus, if it looks fake, if it looks like a country that doesn't make any sense for me, then no. But mostly anyone. Yeah.
What about I'm kind of curious on this because for me, I typically don't is accept connection requests from people that are immediately trying to sell me something.
Right. I get a
You know
lot of
what I mean?
presidents that tell me that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like if somebody sends something to me as a connection request and then they put a message that says, I can help you out with this, this, and this. Do you want to have a call? I'm like, no, I don't want to take time out of my day to have a call. I don't know you.
I
Like,
know. I know. I
it,
know.
is there, I'll tell you what I do. So for a connection request, I actually don't believe any message. I just give the connection request and that's it.
Right.
And for
Yep.
me, at least myself, I accept those all day
Yeah.
long. I'll
Yep.
accept those, providing to your point, they have like a
Yep.
legit profile. But if
Yeah.
they just send a connection request, I'll take it. Right.
Right.
What about you?
Right.
What do you do?
So again, I will look at that person's LinkedIn page, and I hate to say it. Well, okay, here's the whole thing that I wasn't going to talk about, but I'm going to mention it. What a lot of guys don't know, I think a lot of guys, men specifically, don't know when they're on LinkedIn, they don't know what they're doing. There's a trail that's behind them of everywhere they visited, where they click like, and I don't think they're aware that history is on their LinkedIn page.
Yeah.
So if I go to their LinkedIn page, I'll go right to their reactions section in their activity, and I'm going to check where they've clicked like. And honestly, if that person's clicked like on this particular type of LinkedIn post, without saying too much, I'm not becoming friends with you because I know what your attention is and I don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You find
So
that on
there's,
LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, you see that.
yeah, on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
I am looking to see, is this because you genuinely want to connect, or are you hunting for something? I don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I try to stick to North America. I'm not going to sell cleaning or a TED Talk like, conversation to someone in Dubai. We don't need to be friends.
Yeah.
So there are things that, but it's individual, and each request is separate than the one before and the one after. 90% of the time I'm connecting, not a problem. But if I see weird stuff, or if I see they only have 16 connections, or they just opened up their LinkedIn yesterday, we're not going to be friends.
Now, on the flip side, what's your approach for making a connection request with other people? What's your best practice?
Oh, anagranic is persistent and can be annoying and can be pretty blunt. So I have my message and I'll reach out to everybody. And it genuinely is to say, hey, who at your company can I speak with about cleaning? We're a commercial cleaning company. And
Straight
if
for
you're
the
happy,
kill.
if you're happy, stay happy. And if you don't like it, you don't have to connect with me. That's fine. And those that want, they'll respond. So I'm
Yeah.
blunt. I'm not hiding in the agenda.
That's interesting. That approach is interesting, I find, because I guess because right now what you're doing is pre-qualifying and filtering your
Correct.
connection list to people that actually could be a potential partner of
Yes.
you in the future.
Yes.
That's interesting. I've tried that in the past. Actually, to be fair, I tried that approach with LinkedIn automation, which I have totally abandoned because I find LinkedIn automation is what kills LinkedIn. It's brutal.
Impersonal. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
impersonal. That approach I did, and it was successful in getting a lot of connections, but not necessarily the right connections.
So yeah, that's what's the point of that, right? It's like getting all these
Mhm.
likes, but you're not making a sale. That doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, definitely. This has been awesome. Again, is there anything else you want to add to the conversation that I may have missed?
No, I appreciate you inviting me, and I think this is a great talk, and people need to be inspired and motivated. What I do get people saying to me, and they get discouraged, is like, I've not done my LinkedIn, and so I feel like I'm so behind, and it's never too late. Today's your day. You just start today, and every time you're in a grocery line, I request 2 connections to somebody on LinkedIn. Like, it's never too late to build it. And you're not looking at what it's going to look like next week. You're looking at what it's going to look like 5 years from now, because you're still going to need LinkedIn 5 years from now. So
Exactly.
just go get her done.
Exactly. 100%. You can go find her at Anna Granick on LinkedIn, where she is super active. Definitely a very inspiring profile. If you watch her profile, check out my profile. You just model your profile over after hours, and I'm sure you'll start seeing some success on LinkedIn.
You're awesome. Thank you,
Thanks, Anna.
Jason. Awesome. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you. Ciao.
Hey, thank you, podcast listener, for checking out that episode of Drop the Mic. If you liked that episode, I would love it if you went on over to your podcast platform and left us a 5-star review. And if you don't want to miss an upcoming episode of Drop the Mic, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Thanks again. See you soon.